when you see the screen go away, we will be.
Welcome to the meeting of the Johnson City City Commission for Thursday, April 1st, 2021. Pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order number 78, this meeting is being conducted electronically. Ms. Jennings, will you give us a roll call, please?
Commissioner Brock?
Here.
Commissioner Hunter?
Here.
Commissioner Murphy?
Here.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
Here.
And Mayor Wise is absent. Thank you.
Thank you. Tonight we have our invocation by Pastor Tyler Paulsen with Walnut Christian Church.
Tyler Paulsen appears to not have joined us.
Well, Commissioner Murphy, would you like to open us?
Gladly. Let us pray. Dear Father, as we come before you as humbly as we know how, I thank you for the opportunity to conduct your affairs. Continue to bless this commission, bless our city staff, citizens, leaders. Help us to work better together and you get glory. Bless this meeting, bless our time together. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
We'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Peterson.
Vice Mayor, thank you, sir. Your first order of business is consideration of the approval of the minutes of your meeting held on Thursday, March 18th, 2021.
Commissioners, do we have any questions, problems, any motions?
Vice Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hunter, thank you. And Ms. Jennings, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler?
I will abstain. I was not there, so.
Next order of business is the presentation of a proclamation in support of the Take a Shot on Life campaign and the goal of 75% immunization to COVID-19 in our community. Ms. Lottie Ryans is here to accept the proclamation, and Vice Mayor, I'll let you read it.
All right. Thank you for being here, Ms. Ryans. Whereas COVID-19 continues to be an ongoing world health crisis resulting in a state of emergency, and whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention promote the benefits of authorized vaccines as an effective method to protect you from becoming seriously ill with COVID-19, and whereas the percentage required for herd immunity is still being researched, higher numbers of vaccinated people do play an important role in protecting the community and reducing the spread of COVID-19. And whereas Take a Shot on Life is a campaign built to encourage the population that is waiting to take the vaccine or is unsure about the vaccine through the use of messaging tactics, community and medical partnerships, and mobile vaccination vans. And whereas the campaign is being driven by the Regional Appalachian Highlands Economic Aid Directory, referred to as Region Ahead, and whereas Region Ahead was organized at the onset of COVID-19 pandemic as a collaborative of various local chambers of commerce, economic development organizations, and business leaders supporting locally owned small businesses. And whereas on behalf of Region Ahead, the First Tennessee Development District Foundation has secured grant funding from the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee Foundation for the Take a Shot on Life vaccination campaign. And whereas local government bodies and elected officials wish to present a consistent and singular message showing the importance of immunization and the urgency of saving lives, even as we get back to business. Now, therefore, I, Todd Fowler, Vice Mayor of the Johnson City, Tennessee, do hereby issue this proclamation in support of this effort and the goal of 75% immunization to COVID-19 in our community. And Ms. Ryans, would you like to say something?
We certainly appreciate the city's support. We think that getting as many people vaccinated as possible is important to be able to obviously take care of saving lives, but also to reopen our economy, to be able to, for our schools and other organizations to open up without concern as we approach next school year. And we're just really excited to see the great work that Region Ahead had started with the mask campaign and other things moving forward to this vaccine campaign. And we encourage that as bans do come out into communities, that people will have a chance to sign up. We're hoping to make access available to those that found it difficult to get to a site. And sometimes it's just a matter of it doesn't fit their work schedule. So we look forward to seeing really great things happen in Johnson City and the surrounding area through this campaign.
Thank you. And we'll make sure that we get this proclamation to you. And I heard someone say that we need immunity for the community. So
Hey,
I like that.
yeah, I like that. Well, take your shot on life. Thank you all.
Vice Mayor, also, if I could just thank Lottie for you. And this is a great example of public-private sector coming together, doing something that's so important for the community. And it's great to see the business community really stepping forward. They've been real leaders, not only in this, but to helping small businesses through Region Ahead. And so it's just great work that's been going on there. I am so excited to report that I'm already a part of that 75%, and it feels really good when you get your vaccination. And my husband and I are both about 3.5 weeks after our second shot, and it's such a relief now to be able to go around our grandchildren and to enjoy our bubble within our family, who we all are vaccinated with my sisters and everything. So I want to encourage everybody to do this. We got along great, had no side effects or anything like that. And it's the solution we have to eradicate this virus so we can get back to full business, to full entertainment in our community. So, we feel comfortable going out and being with each other again. We're not there. In fact, we're seeing an uptick right now. So we all need to be diligent, still wear your mask. I do, even though I'm vaccinated. Everywhere I go, I wear a mask, and that's what I can do for other people. So anyway, thank you very much. I don't want to take any more time, but to the community, what was it Dolly Parton said? She changed her Jolene song to vaccine. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's follow Dolly's lead.
Vice Mayor, may I say a few words, please?
you bet.
Ms. Ryans, thank you so much for coming to allow us to share in this campaign. This is very needed in our community. I always appreciate the things that you do to make us better. Education is important when it comes to the vaccine. I do a lot of educating one-on-one with our community citizens, but there's also a marginalized population when it comes to the homeless and things like that. And your mobilization plan to do that through vans, vaccination vans, that's just awesome. And I think it's very much needed. If there's anything I can do personally to help come alongside to help you guys achieve this, please let me know. And I have my mask too. And so I echo Commissioner Brock, let's wear a mask. Let's keep our loved ones in our community safe.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Mr. Peterson.
Your next item for consideration is the consent agenda.
Commissioners, anyone have something they would like to pull? Start with Commissioner Brock.
No, I have nothing to pull. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Hunter.
6.1.1, I believe is, and 6.1.5.
All right, and Commissioner Murphy.
Yes, sir. The one that hasn't been pulled yet, I'm going to take 6.1.6 and just, wanting to unpack that a little bit. That's okay.
All right. I have nothing. So Mr. Peterson, if you'll.
Mr. Stahl, if you would explain the agreement with United Telephone, please.
This is actually a renewal of a agreement that actually did expire, but it's been renegotiated. This agreement pertains to a small piece of property at Carver Recreation Center, which of course is located at 316 West Market Street, or a 12 by 12 area. It's about a 4-foot high pole, which contains two structures attached to it that is telephone communication equipment through various communications back to the phone company. And as you know, over the years, this was originally United Telephone Southeast, has had various acquisitions since, and we have readjusted the lease, requiring a back payment because the lease did lapse, and we've renegotiated. And just to give you some background, this was part of a lease that actually had another parcel of city property involved, and it had a one-time payment at the beginning of the lease years ago. We have now, working with Finance Department and the City Attorney's Office, we are now drafting the leases here at the city rather than accepting a lease drafted by the lessee. And in the lease, we have annual lease payments and also a CPI adjustment through the lease term, rather than just a one-time payment, which have frankly been hard to track over the years as people change, companies change, and this will be one of other leases you'll see in the future regarding communication leases, where there'll be annual payments involved, CPI indicators, and it'll be drafted through the city attorney's office rather than the lessee.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good explanation. I appreciate. I'm glad to understand better, about the back payment, and also about, that how you all are crafting the agreements now to adjust for inflation and whatnot. Thank you.
Okay, the next item that was pulled was item 6.1.5. This is change order number 6 to the Burwell Construction Company for the construction of the Liberty Bell Cafeteria and Gymnasium. The amount of the change order is $76,394.59. What this change order did was to pour a 4-inch thick concrete floor in the basement of that building, which is underneath the gymnasium floor. When we set this project up, we had a contingency amount built into the budget that would allow us to deal with things that were unforeseen during design, and that gave us some flexibility to handle change orders that came up. The basement was originally designed with a gravel floor in it, and that's where we were going to stop. And we went into this project recognizing that if we could complete the project under budget, that it would be desirable to go ahead and pour the concrete floor down there. That way that becomes a usable space. That space does have heat in it and operable windows and doors. So the space will be utilized for different activities down there now. So what this change order does is to move an amount from the contingency fund over into the construction contract to cover the cost of putting in that concrete floor in the basement.
And that's already been completed. The work's already been completed.
That work is completed, and the space is being utilized. Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The next item is change order number 7, which is the final reconciliation of the same project.
Excuse me, Mr.
See
Peters.
Mr. Trivet on here. Randy, I apologize for taking off with that. I didn't realize you were on here with us this evening.
That's all right. You did a far better job than I could have done, so I appreciate that.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes, sir. We moved on to 6.1.6. Are we still on 6.1.5?
0.6.
Okay, I have a question concerning 6.1.5, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is these funds are 75,000 or 70, what was that? $76,000 is coming out of contingency. Do you foresee any more unforeseen items coming up in the near future that would require another change order for this project? And when is the project going to be complete for everything turnkey? Just questions.
The project is complete with the exception of putting the lockers in the dressing rooms, Randy, is that right?
That is correct. And the lockers are on site now, and it'll be school maintenance installing those. So there won't be any change orders or issues with those. And the project is completely 100% done. We've issued the substantial completion notice to the contractor. And what these two change orders are doing, we really could have done them all in one, but the architect wanted to split them up into two change orders. But at every large project that we have like this, where we have to reconcile the balance of the contingencies and all the allowances to take the credits and the other additional cost, we put all those into a final change order. And that's what change order number 7 is for 6.1.6. It's that final reconciliation of this project. And it takes all of those small little things that we did that were unforeseen or that came up, such as the final fallout that we had in the parking lot behind the cafeteria and had to get that repaired and have to have inspections on it. So it balances out all the allowances, like the special inspections allowance. It balances out the contingency items, and it just brings all of that into the contractor's final cost. And it shows that the project stayed under budget. And even I even noted that in the agenda summary under the financial impact, that based on all of the allowances, the credits and the additional cost for some unforeseen circumstances, that on the proposed budget for this project, we were $54,956 under what was budgeted for this project that you all had approved at the beginning of the project. So we were able to manage the project, get a lot of these unforeseen conditions taken care of, pay for those out of contingency, and not have to add any additional funds to the budget.
Thank you. Anything else on that?
Vice Mayor, if we could back up just a minute, I'm going to have to go back on my word. I did have a question on one of them. And Mr. Peterson, that's on Sundale. I think that's 6.1.2. How many speed, I noticed, and I really appreciate the family or the neighborhood meeting on this. How many speed bumps now will be added to Sundale?
We don't
And they
know.
think that's going to slow down traffic and really kind of be a deterrent for people cutting down Sundale to cut through the Mockingbird Lane over to the mall.
Anthony, could I get you to respond to that, please?
We're gonna meet again with the neighborhood and let them have input as to how many speed humps they'd like to see. We know of one that we didn't put back in when we resurfaced the road, but how many additional, I can't imagine there being more than 3. Be 2 or 3.
And Phil, we think this will be enough deterrent to keep people from cutting through there on Mockingbird, since the gate's not going to go in.
I'm not sure about the deterrence to the amount of traffic. It certainly will be slower traffic moving through the neighborhood.
Will there be speed bumps on the new Mockingbird then?
No, whenever you design a road, you're required to put in the type of, whatever the developer prefers, the type of traffic control that keeps the speeds under 30 or 25 mile an hour design speeds. So that could be in the form of a chicane, traffic circle, speed humps, that sort of thing. In this case, there's a center island partway into the project and then a traffic circle that feeds over to the AMC. So they do have sufficient design in the road, and the road actually curves. So there's sufficient design to keep it at 25, 30 miles an hour.
Well, it's not the speed so much as, during the original approval of this project, the residents of North Hills were concerned about it being a cut through, and it would increase the amount of traffic coming down Sundale and cutting through to go to the mall. And as a part of that, a gate was going to go in, and then that got pulled. So are we addressing the residents of North Hills' concern about that becoming a shortcut to the mall?
The best advice I'd give now is to react to what actually occurs. There's nothing that we can do or recommend at this time. That we understand there will be more traffic. Some of the kids in the complex will be accessing the Liberty Bell, so we've put in sidewalks and that sort of thing. As far as the amount of cut through, we don't think it will be prohibitive, but if it does become a nuisance, then we'll have to address that.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, Mr. Peterson. Now we're going to, do I have a motion for the agenda, for the consent agenda?
Move approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Brock. Ms. Jennings, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
Thank you. Your next order of business is consideration of ordinance number 4769-21. An ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Johnson City, Tennessee, being part of the appendix to ordinance number 1519, entitled an ordinance to adopt a code of laws and ordinances for the city of Johnson City, Tennessee, and to repeal all laws and ordinances in conflict therewith and amendatory thereof by changing from R3 medium density residential zoning to B4 planned arterial business zoning. Property located at 115 Swanee Drive is ready for your consideration on first reading. Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Ms. Hodges will be running with this presentation.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Just making sure. The property in question is on Swanee Drive, and to kind of orient you, that is one of the streets that come off of Roan Street that's behind Cootie Brown's. Currently, and for about 20 plus years, or 25 plus years, it's been used as a parking lot. And so the zoning has not matched the use. And just to show you kind of, it's a gated parking lot. The site being here. And so you can see that there is before planned business around it, and then the neighborhood that's along Sunrise as far as zoning. What the applicant would like to do is just bring the lot into compliance. So it's considered a non-conforming use. So B4 is the one that is the zoning district that would allow for a parking lot. So that's what staff is recommending. We don't really find that it's in conflict with any of the policies from the bridge plan or strategic plan. And when this went before the planning commission, it received approval of 8-0. If you have any questions at this point, the public input will be at the next meeting. Any questions of staff, I'd be happy to answer those.
Was a neighborhood meeting held, or would it?
There was a neighborhood meeting held and no one attended.
I got a question. Who brought this to the attention of the commission originally? Like whose idea is this?
The property owners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the property owner here?
He is not, because the public input is the next section, next reading.
Okay.
Any further questions from commission? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Jennings, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
The next order of business is consideration of ordinance number 4766-21. An ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021 budget, which was passed by ordinance number 4745-20, is ready for your consideration on second reading and continuation of public hearing. Dustin, you'd like to quickly explain what is being changed here?
Yes, sir. Most of the items before you, which was approved on first reading, you have already approved with the understanding that we would come back to you with a formal budget amendment. And this is that budget amendment. Included in here are the personnel adjustments, the lump sum payment, and the 4% pay plan adjustment. The grant at Langston, the CCLC grant, and additional funding for street resurfacing this year, a project at MPCC, an additional vehicle in transit, in mass transit, an additional paratransit van, and then funding the construction portion of the elementary school projects. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, after public hearing, or continuation of public hearing, I should say, we recommend approval.
Commissioners, any questions? And JT, do we have anyone waiting for the public hearing?
No, sir. Would you like me to go ahead and put the public hearing slide up with the information at this point?
Would you please?
Yes, sir. Bear in mind the 20 to 25-second delay before this feed is live.
Anything we want to discuss while we're waiting for the people for public hearing?
I do have one question. I guess it's directed at Mr. Peterson. On number one, on the 4% staff increase, when will that be effective?
That was effective the last pay period.
Okay.
So it took, am I remembering that right, Janet?
This pay period, the one for tomorrow.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
JT, do we have anyone?
No, sir.
Are we keeping it open for the third also, or are we closing the public hearing with us?
That is entirely up to you. There was, the reason for the continuation last time was to ensure that everyone had an opportunity to participate in the public hearing.
All right, well, I think we should close the public hearing then, because they gave them 2 meetings to do. So we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Go
I'll
ahead.
make that motion.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'm
I'm trying to give everybody a chance.
I understand. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Jennings, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
Next order of business is consideration of ordinance number 4767-21. An ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Johnson City, Tennessee, being part of the appendix to ordinance number 1519 entitled An Ordinance to Adopt a Code of Laws and Ordinances for the City of Johnson City, Tennessee, and to repeal all laws and ordinances in conflict therewith and amendatory thereof by changing from B3 supporting central business zoning to I1 light industrial zoning, certain properties bound by West Watauga Avenue, West Market Street, and West King Street is ready for your consideration on third and final reading. Ms. Hodges?
Good evening, good evening again. Basically, I just want to go over, I am sharing, okay. Just a few, just kind of making sure you know where this is, and where the rezoning will be, and why they're doing it, which is to essentially move their loading area and to add a small parking lot. If you have any additional questions from the public input, please let me know. But the Planning Commission recommended approval and staff has recommended approval.
Has anything changed from the first two readings of this?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
I have a second from Commissioner Hunter. Ms. Jennings, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Murphy. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
Thank you. Your next order of business is consideration of ordinance number 4768-21.
And again, that ordinance, or that is for the,
Hang on. Hey,
you can't see my
Whitney.
screen, can you?
Whitney, hang on
Yes.
one second, because the city manager has to read the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to pass that to one of you all because I didn't get the caption put
In the
into my packet. So if one of you all got a firm copy of the ordinance to read the caption, please.
Sure. An ordinance to abandon an alley. This is ordinance number 4768-21. An ordinance to abandon an alley between 325 West Watauga Avenue and 250 West Market Street, extending south from West King Street upon the terms and conditions contained herein, and repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, is presented to you on third and final reading.
Has anything changed from the first two readings?
No, sir.
Sir.
Do I have a motion?
Make a
I'll move for approval.
I did it
Aaron
first.
got there.
Got there first.
And then Jenny got there second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Did you get those, Ms. Jennings?
Who made the initial motion?
Aaron got there first, and then
Okay,
Jenny came through with the second.
okay, I got it now.
All right. Can you
Thank
call the roll, please?
Commissioner Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hunter,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes, ma'am.
and Vice Mayor Fowler.
Yes.
Okay, that takes us to public input.
JT, can you open this meeting up for public input and let us know? I guess we have that still 20-second delay. So,
Yes, sir. It's live now.
all right.
Did we have any requests for public input that
No, ma'am,
formally came in?
None that's in my packet. No, ma'am.
Okay.
So it just went live?
Right. Is there anyone waiting?
No, sir.
I'll let them have another 30 seconds or so in case they would like to call in. And JT, do we have anyone?
All clear, sir.
I will close the public input. Mr. Peterson, anything else?
Yes, sir. Just a couple things. Would remind everybody that we will be opening up city facilities on Monday next week. We will be requiring the wearing of masks, social distancing, and there will be hand sanitizing stations at all of our facilities. We're looking forward to getting open back up and doing so safely so that we can return to what we once recognized as being normal, and take care of all of our operations. Want to certainly recognize the staff for all the work that they've and extra effort they've put forth in the last year with being closed, the implementation of new technologies, some physical changes we've made to our facilities, and certainly a recognition and appreciation to our customers and citizens for their patience while we have been forced to alter the way that we do business and deliver our services during the course of this pandemic the last 12 or 13 months. It's been very trying on everyone, and as has been pointed out earlier this evening, we're making good progress. We're getting there, but we need to be diligent in our efforts to be safe so that we can ensure a continued and safe reopening of everything in Johnson City and return to all of the things that we know and love as part of our community. And beyond that, I'd be glad to answer any questions or take any direction that any of the commissioners may have.
Commissioners, anything? Commissioner Brock, start with you.
Okay. Pete, this isn't a question for you. It's just really a summary of, several of us have been to a number of ribbon cuttings here this past week. There are a couple next week as well. And it's just really exciting to see the growth of not only new businesses that are coming to Johnson City. There's a lot of confidence, I think, in our community, and it's good to see this business activity taking place. Commissioner Hunter and Commissioner Murphy and I were at the Chipotle ribbon cutting yesterday, and I understand that the regional manager got back to the mall manager and told her that it was the largest day's revenue of any new opening facility they've ever opened. So one of the remarks that we made is that we know people in Johnson City like to eat, so restaurant's a pretty good bet. The restaurant next door to them, Chicken Salad Chick, is that what it is, will be opening in 2 weeks. So there will be another one. We had a ribbon cutting in the mall today for another new store, mother and daughter who've opened a boutique in the mall. And I think the mall manager told me that every space is leased except for one. And so they've got a couple of people on it right now. So it's really exciting to see what's going on in Johnson City. I think, just the business activity is great for us. And we appreciate all the people who continue to have the confidence in us. Now, let's just all wear a mask and get out there and support these businesses.
Commissioner Hunter.
Just to echo what Commissioner Brock mentioned, it was great to be at that ribbon cutting and see the great crowd. It's a great facility. The library will be reopening on April 19th. Hours will be Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 10 to 1. And then also, I guess, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Cannon on his appointment to the chief building official, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I guess we'll be meeting him and learning more about him here in the near future.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Murphy.
Yeah, prayers. We got good things happening in our community, right? But the reality is we got some social tensions that we just need to pray together on and listen to one another. I do believe that things are happening, and I just want to encourage everyone just to be willing to learn and be willing to listen, and just pray for our community citizens in this time. Also prayers for Mayor Wise, as he is not present today. So hope he gets well. But thank you.
And we do pray for Mayor Wise. Hopefully he will be feeling better here soon and get back together with us. The Convention and Visitors Bureau is moving along toward finding a new home, and they're going to be visiting some visitor centers in adjoining states and places here soon. And it's exciting to think about having a nice new visitor center for people to coming to Johnson City to get a great look at that, and maybe have a store there that you can buy some things, Johnson City, East Tennessee goods. So I look forward to hearing back from them on their visits and what the plans are for that. So lots of exciting things going on. We do need to encourage others about vaccinations. I do like the immunity for the community, which we need to push toward to get everybody safe and out and back doing things we like to do. So I appreciate everybody's time, especially the city, on everything they're doing, the employees, and all that they're doing to help us get back to that and open up our facilities. And we look forward to getting back toward hopefully normal and not just a new normal. So anything else, Mr. Peterson?
Just thank you for your time, and a big thanks to the employees for their continued efforts. And we'll see you in 2 weeks with some more city business. Keep things moving forward.
All right.
Mr. Peterson, one last thing.
Yes.
I want to thank Vice Mayor Todd for doing a stand-up job today. I think he knocked it out of the park. Thank you for stepping up.
No, I appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm having to do it in his absence, but thank you. And seeing nothing else, we will call the meeting adjourned.